Hello dear friends and my dear students. In unit number 2, which has been written by Count Leo Tolstoy, and the heading is "Too Dear." In the heading we can see there is the exclamatory sign. The reason for that exclamation is that "too dear" means too expansive. How too close things are going to be expansive? How two dear things are going to be expansive can be seen in this unit. Meanwhile, we are going to see that two dear things are two costlier things. The things which are too dear can be costly only when we take someone's suggestions as our judgments in our lives. Let's see who is Count Leo Tolstoy. Count Leo Tolstoy is a Russian writer and he is a realistic writer. Count Leo Tolstoy, at last in his lifespan, has become a moral thinker and a philosopher. In his writings, we are going to see the real activities and real things which are portrayed by him. This writer who condemns and criticizes the unhealthy and weak decisions which were taken by the king and the kingship. The failure to carry forward the judgments in their lives are seen here and shown here by this realistic writer. Count Leo Tolstoy, who projected here the concept called too dear. Too dear means actually too close, but here we will see how too dear can be too expansive. Monaco is a tiny little piece of kingdom, and Monaco is such a tiny kingdom which has got less than 7,000 acres. There were so many other kingdoms which are more than this circumference or this area, even though they never be called as kingdoms, but only Monaco can be called as a kingdom because it has got a real kinglet, a palace, ministers, courtiers, bishop, and even an army of just 60 men as soldiers in it. We should know that if each acre in that kingdom was distributed among the people, each person may not get 1 acre, so small was the kingdom of Monaco. When the kingdom was very small, this kingdom also gets the taxes like any other kingdoms as well. The taxes which were there in the kingdom of Monaco were poll tax, taxes on tobacco, taxes on wine, and taxes on spirit. But the important thing is that the king never forces anybody to pay it forcefully. That was the outstanding quality which could be found about the king of Monaco or the prince of Monaco. Because to run the government, because to run the kingdom, the king was in need of a new source of income because the funds he gets from the taxes were not enough to bear the expenses and to bear his kingship. The new source of revenue which came to the king was from the gaming houses. In all the other kingdoms, the gaming houses were banned because they are going to create lots of harms to the people and their lives. The people, whoever who will go to play the games in the gaming houses, they will lose their money first and then they will go and bring the credit. Even that money will also be lost. Then in despair, either they are going to jump into the water and put away their lives, or they will shoot themselves down. So these are the tough things which are faced by the people who are going to play in the gaming houses. That's why the nearby kingdoms have banned the gaming houses. But only the Prince of Monaco has given bless for these gaming houses because he must get the new source of revenue to run his government. That's why the people who are going to caretake or take care these gaming houses have given much of their profit to the Prince of Monaco. This is also the reason why he has given permission for these gaming houses. But king recalls here a proverb, you cannot earn stone palaces by honest labor. Yet the king knew that it is a dirty business. To earn money in this fashion is wrong. He still sticks on to the work of earning money and profit from the gaming houses. Because of this reason, the kings who were nearby the kingdom may not have a lot of respect for this king. The king, even though he may not have the respect, he just wants to get income from the gaming houses, and that income was important for him to run his government or his kingdom. King led a happy life from the moment when the gaming houses have flourished. But a murder has taken place in that kingdom. Because of that murder, the people who were there in that particular kingdom were shocked. All the people who were there in Monaco were peaceable. Peaceable means peace-loving ones. The king appointed the judges, jurymen, barristers, and ministers to go thoroughly into the case. In the same way, with lot of respect, when they have been appointed, they too did the same. So what has been done by these judges, jurymen, and barristers? They went through the case thoroughly, and they have said that this is what we feel about the criminal. What did they feel? Because he has murdered a person, that's why he has to be executed. This is the suggestion, or this is the order which has been placed in front of the Prince of Monaco. When the Prince of Monaco received this type of suggestion from the barristers, judges, jurymen, and so many members, at last the king ordered to execute him without taking any kind of precautions. This judgment has got two important weaknesses. This judgment, to implement it, they required the man and the machine, which are not available in the kingdom of Monaco. So, the ministers, judges, jurymen, and all the members who were assigned in that committee, they suggested that they have to write a letter to the French government asking them that they could send them machine and an expert. So, machine refers to Guillotine. But they wrote a reply, and in that reply they have written that they are going to send the man, that is the expert, Guillotine, that is the machine. They are going to charge 16,000 francs for that. When the king has received this letter, then he felt that for this criminal, spending 16,000 francs is useless, and for this rascal, this amount is not deserved. If he has to give the French government 16,000 francs, he has to collect 2 francs per head from the public or from the people as an extra tax, which is unbearable, and the people are going to revolt against him. That's why the king went in search of the cheaper way to punish the criminal. Once again, when the committee is called, then they suggested that the similar letter has to be written to the Italian government. From the Italian government, they expect a prompt reply, and the same reply has come from him because he was the brother monarch. He could do the things in the cheaper way. This was expected by the members and even the prince. The same expectation was seen here, and that was 12,000 francs. They are going to charge 12,000 francs. They are going to happily help the Prince of Monaco with the man and the machine. This 12,000 francs include the traveling expenses as well. So what will be included in this 12,000 francs? the traveling expenses. Even though the prince thought that yet he has to collect $2 francs as extra from the people, which is unbearable, and people will get revolt against him. Hence, the Prince of Monaco called for another commission, and in that committee they thought that they have to ask the general for the help. And at last, when the general was called, he has been informed that can he find a soldier who can do the work for the prince in a cheaper and rough way. Because they didn't hesitate to kill the enemies in the battlefield. That's why this request was put forth in front of the general. The same thing was said by the general in front of the army men, but nobody accepted this by saying that we are not taught how to take away the life of the murderer. Up to here, we can see that the prince was in confusion, dilemma, whether to carry forward the judgment which has been taken by him or not. At last, when the panel has suggested him that he must convert the death sentence into one of the life's imprisonment, then the prince accepted it, and then he has given the order that the death sentence has to be converted into one of the life's imprisonment. This is what he said and ordered, which has been accepted by the criminal as well, and he orders it. That's all for now. In the next video, we will see the next part of this unit. Thank you. In the previous video of unit number 2, that is of 2 Deer, we have seen that the Prince of Monaco has got suggestions from the members, and that's why he has converted the death sentence into one of the life's imprisonment because of 2 important reasons. And first and foremost reason is that it would be cheaper, and second reason is that people will consider him as a merciful king. When he has converted the death sentence into one of the life's imprisonment, then he has to face a problem, and the itch was that there was no permanent prison in that kingdom to keep the criminal who was for life's imprisonment. There was a temporary prison where people were kept temporarily. The people who were there in that kingdom were peaceable, which was well known to us. That's why there were less crimes in that kingdom. Because he has got a temporary prison, there he has fixed him, and in that prison he led his life. And the special thing is that he has been provided food from the king's palace kitchen. Apart from that, a guard was placed to fetch the same for him. In this way, 1 year has passed, and after 1 year, when king was going through the accounts, he comes to know that there was a new expense which was arisen due to the maintenance of the criminal and the guard. Meanwhile, his food was also expensive. It was 600 francs per year. That's why they felt that it has been an added expenditure which has to be reduced, and it is too costly enough to maintain the criminal as well. And this criminal was too young, and he could further live for 50 more years. This was the real tense of the king. Then he once again commissioned all the members, and he put forth the question, can they find out the cheaper way to punish the criminal? Because he has to just spare 600 francs every year for the maintenance of the criminal. He has repeated the line, the criminal was too young and he could live for 50 more years. So all the members who were there in that commission, they thought that the only way to get rid of this particular criminal was to remove the guard. One of the minister suggested this in the commission. When the minister said they have to remove the guard so that they can reduce the expenses of maintenance of the criminal, immediately there the other minister said that if we remove the guard, the criminal would run away. Then the first minister who suggested to remove the guard, he said that let him run and hang to himself. Then only we can be away from the maintenance of the criminal. This is how they had the plan, and they put forth the prince, and prince agreed to remove the guard. When the guard was removed, all the people who were there in that particular kingdom expected that the criminal would run away. But the reality was quite different, and it was against the expectations of the ministers, judges, jurymen, and even the prince. When the guard was removed, then the criminal was awaited there with lot of time, with lot of patience. But when nobody has come over there, he comes out of that prison. He found that there was no guard. He directly goes to the palace's kitchen. There the people have provided him the food, and that has been consumed by him. He comes back and locks him up once again in the prison and sits over there, which shocks all of them. They thought that because it was night, he couldn't go out of the prison and run out of the prison. Still they were awaiting for the chance. But when in the morning the same thing was repeated, then the prince once again called all the members and he asked what to do. Then they said, now they have to go directly to the criminal and they have to inform that they couldn't bear him for longer time. That's why he has to go out of the prison on his own. One of the minister who goes to the criminal and says like this, the king didn't mind, you can go out of the prison. Why are you still sitting over there in the prison? Then the criminal said for the first time in this unit, and he speaks out. He narrates that I know king wouldn't mind because I have been ruined by your sentence. My life has been collapsed. I may not have any other ways to earn my living. I have lost the skill of working. The people will turn their backs the moment when they will see me. So these reasons were given by the criminal for not going out of the prison. The moment when you have given the death sentence, you might have done it. The moment when you have given the death sentence, you might have carried forward it, but you didn't do. Then I didn't question you. You have converted the death sentence into one of the life's imprisonment. Then also I didn't say a single word. Even you have now removed the guard who is going to bring me the food. Yet I didn't ask you a question. But right now you ask me to go out of this prison, which is impossible. I may not go because it is not right. You have ill-treated me. So these are the reasons which were given by the criminal for not going out of the prison. At last the prince was tensed and once again he called a meeting there. And in that meeting they thought that there was only one way to get rid of the criminal, and that way was to provide him the pension, and the pension was fixed by them 600 francs per year. And when this pension was announced to the criminal, then the criminal happily said that yes, now I am ready to go out of this prison. Usually the governments are going to place the orders, but here in turn the criminal puts a condition to the government. The condition is that the pension for him has to be provided regularly. Only on that condition he is ready to quit the prison. Even the Criminal was given 1/3 of his annuity in advance, and he takes that amount. He travels just 15 minutes by train, and he crosses the frontier. There he purchases a bit of land, and with market gardening he led his life happily. And thereafter, at every right interval, he comes to the prince's kingdom. There he collects his money, and he even goes to the gaming houses. He plays there with 2 or 3 coins, or 2 or 3 francs as well. On many occasions he wins the money, and on many occasions he may lose, but he led a happy life when he comes out of the prison, just by maintaining the market gardening. He has done the crime in such a kingdom where the king may not have the dare enough heart to take the decision, even though he has taken the right decision, but the decision was not implemented by him. That's why he was lucky enough to be survived. And this is what we have to know, how the things are going to become too expansive in our lives when someone's suggestions are taken as our decisions. And this has to be remembered. And Leo Tolstoy continuously argues that the people who are going to listen to someone's suggestions and turns them as their decisions are going to be costly in their lives. Thank you very much.